Chapter 2, The Flesh is Weak, Chris Carley. There's something special about closing a chapter of your life. It lets you take an assessment of who you were, and maybe still are. With Dr. RPIP blessedly out of the way for 6 months, she's going on a cruise, or a mission trip, or something. I only care how long I'm free. It's time for me to close the other parts of my life here in the middle-sized town of my birth, and get ready to move to the middle-sized town of my actual university. It would be way cooler if I was living in a small town and moving to the big city, or even turning the trope on its head and moving from the big city to a small community college in the hills or the woods or something else picturesque. But no, I'm moving from a middle-sized town with a junior college to a middle-sized town an hour away with a real university. I'm not generally much for parties or celebrations, mostly because people don't make sense, and I'm constantly lost. But forms must be observed. Also, I like people, I just don't understand them. And the fact that I'm the one being celebrated, and for something I've done rather than my simple survival, makes it special. Birthdays are fine, but come on. I'm done with junior college. I'm going to real school. Thankfully, my first part-time job, the grocery store, didn't make a big deal out of people leaving. Otherwise, we'd have parties every week. People get hired for a week, find out it's work, and then quit. I've worked at the store for 3 years since my senior year of high school, so I was about fourth most senior person there. They gave me a cake. I immediately co-op for my actual party at my second part-time job at the college library, a den of sin and iniquity. Josh shut the place down for the afternoon because apparently that's something that can be done. It's never happened in the 2 years I've been here, but I've also never left before, and I outlasted all my fellow hires back in the day. I guess all those kids who need to study can just go fuck themselves. At least they can for the 2 hours the library's closed for my party. Dr. RPIP kept me late, so it's already dark when I get there. I guess that's okay, but that means that the night crew will also be in for the party, which I'm sure will be fine. Carrying my giant cake, I feel like I should be happy. There's no reason to be nervous. Who's going to fuck with a person carrying a giant cake? I count my blessings and learn that I'm already nicely dressed for my appointment with my fake psychiatrist, so I don't have to go home and get dressed for the party. Not that most people would consider when I'm wearing nicely dressed, I guess, but for me, this is top shelf. My nice red is tight with no holes or pop seam jeans. The ones it takes me 7 minutes to squeeze into, but that makes me look like I've got a butt. My t-shirt with a hoodie made of t-shirt material, which is nice for me. It's a bitch in the Texas heat, but libraries are always a source of unnatural cold. And I'm weird about that. For a second, this makes me think of the ice rink, and the entirely non-cold related shudder hits me. But then I pass a window, dark inside, reflecting my face, and I'm back in the game. I forgot to put on makeup for RPIP. I almost look hot. Totally ready for a lame party. Josh greets me at the door and holds them open for me. There's already a stack of cheap pizzas and warm sodas waiting just inside. I turn to him with surprise. Josh, there's no food or drinks allowed in the library. I tease him gracefully. He grins and spreads his hands. Joe and Sarah are already there, taking up the couple's couch at the edge of the common area and filling the room with the icky smell of their happy pheromones. They look up for a moment as I come in and give me pleasant platitudes about missing me so much and how we have to keep in touch. I manage to keep a smile on my face and promise to contact them, though I know the moment I'm out of sight, they will have forgotten me. Audrey comes through the back door carrying a homemade apple pie. It smells delicious, damn her. She nods at me, but avoids looking me in the eye. Audrey and I were very close for the first year, even though she always wore homemade skirts and hadn't watched television as a child. Then at a 4th of July party, we almost made out, and she told me I was going to hell, even though she tried to kiss me. She made it a point to never be alone with me after that. I watch her head over to the food table and set the pie down, before making her way to the new book section to straighten some books. I stare at her for a moment as she walks away. I'll never understand how religious people think skirts make people look less sexy. Gosh, she's got an ass. My minor indiscretion is interrupted by a tall, loud, blonde boy bursting through the side entrance. His hands are as empty as his promises, and the way he shouts, "Becky!" is enough to make my eyes roll so hard they almost leave my face. Luke is gangly in the extreme, and I have no idea what I saw in him except for his rockin' bod. His hands are huge, like baseball player big. We dated for about a month, but broke up because of irreconcilable difference. Okay, he left me when I wouldn't say that Star Wars was better character development than Star Trek, because it doesn't. And I later heard him say that Heralds of Valdemar was only for juveniles, so it wouldn't have worked anyway. I ache for him a little, still, and sometimes in the shower or just anytime I'm alone. Sometimes I worry that I might be a slut. I have maybe half a dozen people I call friends, and I've made out or slept with 3 of them. That's half. That's math so simple even I can do it. But I was a teenager, and so were they, and we were away from home, or at least they were, and maybe I'm a slut. I'm not sure Audrey is my friend anymore. Does that make me more or less of a slut? Luke gives me a big hug, which feels like heaven, but it's over way too quickly. He moves over and grabs a slice of the cheap and room temperature pizza and takes a bite. Somehow I manage not to slow this down in my head and only get a little horny at the sight of the tiny slice in his huge hands. I can't believe you're leaving us, he said loudly. He's always loud. Going off to real school. Can't you do distance or something? Everybody's totally going to miss you, he bellows, leaning over to Audrey to whisper shout, some of us more than others. I'm certain that I am the color of the pepperoni, and I'm about ready to scream. I turn away just in case I start crying, and my eyes land on Frank, the last member of our crew, the night shift guy. He's a heavy-set guy, older with a dark complexion. He's wearing the same thick denim jacket he always wears. Dude looks cold even during the Texas summer. Becky, he manages to sound loud and quiet at the same time. His voice is stage whisper. Could I have a moment of your time? He gestures to the back office. I feel a little nervous, but the shades in there are broken, so it's not like he can murder me without it being seen. I wave to Josh, who's the only one paying attention anyway, and step through the heavy wooden door that feels out of place among all the particle board bookshelves and IKEA chairs in the library. He goes around the desk and sits down in a large and comfortable chair reserved for the head librarian. Frank likes comfortable things, and I sit in the chair opposite. It too is comfortable, but I'm still on edge. Frank turns to face the wall, looking away from me, and I let out a breath. Becky, he says carefully, I'm glad that you're leaving us. For a second, I'm almost offended. What kind of goodbye is that? He chuckles and says, I imagine you're a bit insulted by that. He takes a deep breath. Rebecca, the other years have very little potential for growth. Audrey will always be stymied by her parents' desires. Luke will follow his cock around. Joe and Sarah will barely have personalities to speak of. And Josh has no ambition beyond working at a larger library. I don't know what to do with my hands. I'm a little shocked, both because I've never heard Frank say anything negative about anyone, and also because he just said cock. Frank said fucking cock. Frank, the guy who sounds like a Shakespearean actor describing his craft, or a nature documentary narrator talking about lemmings, said cock. I'm trying not to drum my hands on the comfortable chair, so I end up clutching it. Thanks, I guess? It's not entirely a compliment, Rebecca. You've been present but not here for 2 years. I have occasionally seen you run away from things, but never toward them. You've pursued minor pleasures, but nothing seems to have actually interested you. You've been killing time, that's all. Time can be precious or it can be plentiful, but either way, if it's not used for something, it's worthless. Do you understand me, Becky? He is still facing the wall. If I run, he couldn't stop me. But maybe I've read the whole situation wrong? It actually seems like he's trying to give me advice. I mean, it's hard to consider advice from a literal vampire as being good advice, but it is kind of good advice. Sure, Frank, I say, rising from the chair gently. I got you. Run toward things, not away. Don't go chasing waterfalls, no little nickels, etc. He sighs. Youth is wasted on the young, he whispers. Enjoy your party, Miss Darling, but mark my words, not making a choice would leave you with less choices than making one. I hate to admit that my heart thinks he's right.